So the first thing, I think this is actually the very first play of the game.
Yeah,
And
I
the
think so.
reason why I chose this because we didn't see a lot of two back gun split back in the past. Do you remember much of that
No,
two
no,
buck?
not like this. This is actually, at least offensively, I thought this was great.
Yes.
This play in particular.
So let's kind of talk through it a little bit. Okay, so we used to call this I can't remember what we called it. It was a Queens set. Thinking of the pros, meaning there's no tight end, three wide receivers, two running backs. Okay, so it creates matchups, and depending on who your running backs are, you got to figure out if he's going to be in the slot or something else. So think of, to me, if you're thinking about pros, think of like San Francisco, having McCaffrey back there with another running back because they could actually put McCaffrey out wide, or if you had a Reggie Bush, or even if you had a Jameer Gibbs,
Mm-hmm.
right, and another running back that can go out there and line up. So that's one thing. The defense, JT, this is what we thought we were kind of going to see, right? 4-2, your safety is kind of condensed at the bottom.
Yeah, you got a safety walk down, which we actually do this a lot. We don't show it like this all the time, but we do this
We
a
as in JP2.
yes, we do this a lot because there's no second receiver out here. There's not a lot of space, and you're actually kind of worried about exactly what happens right here. I don't think we particularly did a good job defensively. I didn't really look at what the linebackers were doing. I was really more concerned about this receiver and how good of a job he ends up doing. Um, I don't know if I'm going to give him credit to say that it was actually a push crack. I think it was man over here, and Xavier Brown just went with him, and he went and just cracked the safety. But the results are the same.
Time. Just because I need for you to break that down. I know what you're talking about, but when you're talking about push crack, you probably want to explain that for people that don't know
Yeah.
what we're
So
talking about.
a push crack is a way for a receiver to essentially block two people. And in this case, he doesn't have to do that because one of the backs out of the backfield is actually going to lead block. But a push crack kind of looks like this. You're going to push the corner to get him uh, to get him to back up, yes, but also to kind of lull him into having to cover you. And you're going to run a slant basically to this safety. So the idea is that you're going to have this corner cover you on the slant while you're actually going to go block this safety right here. And that's kind of what ends up happening. Even though, like I said, when we watch it, it doesn't actually look like he pushes and then cracks. It looks like he just goes right here, right now. And it might be because of man coverage that Xavier Brown ends up running with him. But like I said, the results are the same. You get the corner over here and the safety over here, and then the back is able to just lead block on the corner,
Yep.
and you get this.
Very good explanation. And one of the things I'll say that you do have to be concerned with, which you'll see a little bit later on one of our other plays, is because that when you have condensed splits by those wide receivers, they actually run a route over to the other side of the field. So I don't know if you call it an over route or a crossing route, but where they're heading diagonally across the field trying to get 12 yards deep on the other hash. Yep, something like that. So the corner does have to cover that. Okay.
Yeah, well, you got to play on this a little bit. I don't know what order it is, but it's on here because
Yes,
that's
that's what I'm
exactly what
saying.
happens.
That's exactly what happens. So the corner has to play honest, and you just can't let him go and pretend that it's or like he knows that it's run, unless he's actually looking at the lineman. All right, so we're gonna let this play um, go. There's a lot involved in it. Let's look at the offensive side first. All right, you good with that, JT?
Mm-hmm.
And the design of this because you got a lead blocker, as you said, with the tailback at the bottom. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Yeah, please keep it right there because all the linemen are blocking back except the guard who pulls. So JT, I need for you to kind of talk to me about that a little bit because this is a read. Maybe I don't know. You know, is this an outside run or is this what is where it gets confusing? you know, is it a trap with the other running back, or is it a the possibility that Milrow could pull the ball and follow the puller?
I don't know. So if you're asking me if there's a possibility that uh, Milrow can pull this and then follow the puller, that would make it more like veer, right?
All right.
And I don't think so. I don't think that this doesn't. I don't know. His eyes look like Milrow's helmet looks
He's
like it could
looking
be
it.
veer. I just don't see it here. But it could be because I mean the ball ends up hitting outside, and I'm trying to remember what this guy actually does.
Well,
Because I don't think that he spills the puller.
which
I think
guy?
the
No, he
defensive end.
doesn't. He squeezed down. He doesn't even get blocked.
Yeah, I
He
think he
ends up
just
ending
kind of
up
like
chasing him.
boxes the puller, and like if they wanted to, they could just kick him out, and then
I
you
think
got.
they're reading. I think they're reading him. That's what we'll
Mhm.
let the folks say. It looks like they're reading him, and the puller's coming around for the backer. You know, and that it's going to be an outside run. That's what I think. Which is a very very well designed play on the offensive side. It's definitely there's no RPO piece. All the wide receivers are blocking, so they're gonna hand it off. All right. So I like the design of the play is the main thing. It is a little bit different type of run scheme than we've seen in the past from Alabama. It is confusing. Confusing is probably not the right word. You got to be really sound with this because this type of running game can't. Well, that's what exactly what you're talking about, right? He blocked two.
Yeah, he's able to block two, and then once he comes off, there's another blocker coming that actually accounts for both of these guys. And if you're reading the end, which I have to agree, you're probably right because they didn't touch him, and it's not like he didn't see him, you know.
Right.
So he's going up to
right.
the linebacker. So yeah, you read this guy, you don't have to block him. You have the extra guy on the corner. He steps down probably a little bit too far, and then you're able to get outside.
Because your left tackle also goes up for the other backer. That's why I think. I mean, if he pulled it, everybody's blocked in the box other than the end man on the line of scrimmage. So if
Right.
he's
And
out
you're
too
you're
wide,
saying the crease, like if you wanted to keep it, is right there.
yes, because they're all good. So I think that's pretty good from the offensive side. So now let's flip hats to the defensive side because I know we got to be pretty quick here since we're supposed to have Charlie Potter
He's
here
already
about
in here. He's backstage.
Oh, he's checking out what we're talking about, huh? He's getting his learn on a little bit. Okay, so from the defensive side, I mean, what do you do? I mean, the only thing you can ask for better is what you said, the crack replace, maybe, or
Yeah, I mean the crack replace has to be a bit better. I mean, depending on like what his actual assignment is in coverage. Like this is
he's out of there too far.
I
Ain't
know, right? He's already 17 yards off the ball. And I would be saying, hey, look, like this guy's in a bind because he's going to be wrong. Like if he takes the back, the quarterback's keeping it and going underneath. If he plays the quarterback, he's getting flanked outside. So you need the extra man in the box, and he happens to be almost out of the frame. And you got a hat on a hat. So I mean, really,
Who else
you
to the offense? That you say it. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you
yeah, I
lose some,
mean,
right?
you either got to win, you got to win a one-on-one, which yeah, you can always do better at that, winning your one-on-one, getting off of blocks, making a tackle, right? But you're always trying to scheme to try to get +1 in the box. And they got +1 because they pulled a guy. They pulled a guy from one side of the field to the other side of the field. So they have their +1. This guy's not going to be able to help you. So your +1 needs to get down here. And he can't because he's so far away.
Okay. Last little piece. Great hit by Malachi, who was a safety at that point. He laid the wood on it. All right, so let's go back. Go back, because this is the one. Probably, if there's any reason for us to go over a little bit and not show all the film, is that this one is just so intriguing to me. We talked about this when we were breaking down DeBoer's film while he was at Washington, and we also. Maybe did you talk about this with Ryan Fowler last week with the what's actually called vanilla and base?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I did because I was saying, much like, matter of fact, I give you my little anecdote today. Right, this is day 3 of spring. Right, so we're going through our vanilla stuff. We're just starting to handle motions, and Granado comes out today in a double tight end set. And it's like, dude, like we're just trying to figure out how to get lined up, and everybody's like, well, what am I supposed to do? We both can't get in 7s. And like, yeah, you can't. But here we go, going through run period with these weird formations, and now you got DeBoer doing the same thing with 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers on one side with an eligible tackle, which I don't know the college rules. He may not actually be eligible. But you got 4 receivers on one side, back the strong side, and right now this guy is not eligible because he's on the ball.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you're looking at the defense, you already kind of go, they're not really lined up right, in my mind, just because you got the 3 and the 5 over here, and you got 2 extra gaps.
Yeah, you got two open gaps. You got 2 bubbles on the same side. This is that's not good.
No. So I don't know. But anyway, so they started out with this, and I first saw this. I immediately said this to Ryan. I was like, "Did you see that?" That's what I'm saying. Our eyesight is a little bit different than what other people are looking at, because I saw this when it actually was happening. Then they shift the running back over to the right side of the quarterback and move the tight end, so we can show this when JT is play for the shift, so you can actually see what just happened. So now they're back in a regular, normal offensive set.
Yeah, and then they shift out, and now they're going the wrong way.
Yes, they shift back.
You were fine. You were
fine.
Well,
I don't know. I think they're shifting to a shade 5-9, or is that a corner down here?
No, that's a corner.
Oh yeah, that's not right then.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, I think so.
Maybe it's
2,
not. I don't
3,
know who
4,
7
5,
is.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
There's a guy right here behind your head.
Oh yeah.
Can I get rid of us?
He's a DB. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the thing that was intriguing to me is, one, that they ran this already in spring football. Were they doing this for our defense? Were they doing this so people have to study and see this because they know every opponent is actually kind of watching this like we are? And saying, all right, and they're doing it in spring football. So the main thing is you got to be able to get lined up right on defense, because they could have snapped it from the other way too, right? Mm-hmm. All right, let the play go so we can see what actually happened. Oh, goodness. Isn't this basically the same doggone play, JT, that we just saw a minute ago with a whole lot of smoke and mirrors?
It is. It is the same play. Just the dude standing over here as a receiver now. Now, what's interesting to me, though, is the false read by the line, because the ball is not going where, like, if you're telling your linebackers, hey, you got to read flow, right? And you get, we always talk about fast flow, slow flow, and mixed flow. And it's like it's fast flow left, but the ball ain't going that way.
Hmm. So what he's talking about is those all the is really so all the linemen are going left. You still got the puller going the other way. I mean, it's identical from a defensive standpoint, kind of, right? Or I don't know. In my eyes, it is.
What you
Other
mean
than
the
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 tight
same
end,
the play that we just showed before versus
yeah, the
this one?
offensive
Yeah,
play. Other than the tight end being
yeah.
close.
It's the same play. You just instead of having a guy standing out here, he's right here now, and instead of a back right here, he's over here, and you still get the same action.
Yes. So what would be interesting? What I wish I could sit in on a meeting or something and see how he actually calls this kind of stuff is it almost end up being the same because you got two shifts and a motion, but the play is exactly the same essentially. So the linemen know they're doing the same stuff. Now he was getting ready to trap that in, and maybe that's because it's a I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's the right read by the quarterback. Give it and
Mm-hmm.
and let him go. And they ran this a couple times out of different things. So I thought this was a great play. I think it's difficult on defense. You're a defensive coordinator now. It just seems like that's going to be hard to try to teach guys how to be sound.
Yeah, we played a team that kind of did that at least ran a similar play like that, except they had a heavy tendency. Basically, anytime I do win motion, they were giving him the ball. So thankfully, I didn't have to think that hard. It was just like, look, if he goes in motion, we're checking the coverage, and you're going to become a defensive end and just hit that dude. He's getting the ball. I think they ran it of all the plays that we had. They ran it. They ran it 25 times. They ran that motion 25 times, and 24 of them they handed the ball off. And
Mm-hmm.
only one time did they fake it and try to throw it over your head. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna tackle that dude whether he has the ball or not. But at this level, they know those tendencies. That's happening. It's gonna be a little bit tougher to defend.
All right. Well, let's try to get another one in for.
Yes, this is the pass. So from play one, right? Your push crack, and we were talking about him running across the field like this, right? Mm-hmm.
T.
Um, no comments on that.
Uh,
I think maybe folks lost your audio there for a minute because I took us off the screen. My fault, but we're back.
oh,
Um,
my fault.
yeah, that's okay. You were giving Milrow praise. I heard you at least. So
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying it's a great throw by Miro in the intermediate screen if you or throw if you missed that. Last year we talked about him not being able to throw the 10, 15, 18-yard pass accurately. That was an accurate throw right in that window, which would be different from last year. I think that was a great statement made by him that not only can I throw the deep ball, but I can get this one into. That was the only point I was trying to make about that. Okay, so which one you want to talk about before we get Charlie in? You want to talk
I
about
think
this
we
one
can get.
or
I
the
think
first
we can
one?
get these two pretty quickly.
All right.
So this one, I think we saw this at different times, right? Because I was over at your house, and you asked me. Uh, so I'm sitting on the floor playing with the kids, and you're sitting on the couch looking at the film, and you said, "Who is number 0?" And when you said that, this is the exact play that was in my head, and I was like, I'm not sure who it is, but I don't know where he was going. And for the first half of the game, it looked a lot like this a lot of times. The second half looked a little bit better, but for the life of me, I still don't understand why he crosses over the formation and even past his linebacker here.
Yes, because the read he should be stepping right in that hole right there. I mean, I think that's
Yeah,
what you're
I'm
choosing. He
saying
needs
yeah,
to
I'm
take
saying
that
he should
window.
be closing this window right here. And there are going to
Yes.
be some people that say, "Well, there's a gap right here." Well, that's what this dude's here for. He can fold
Or
in the B gap, or you probably
he
got somebody coming in right here.
yes, and but that's also I'll go to just a higher level that and maybe if you go back, it's go back where is 96 shaded on this tackle. See, so he ends up getting out of. He's actually in the ABC gap, so he actually gets reached. Oh no, the B gap.
B gap.
So when you watch, he actually ends up in the C because he
Oh
goes out.
yeah, yeah,
So he goes out.
yeah.
He
That's
took
not
a
good
he
either.
took a he took a bad step. So he's supposed to be in that gap. 28 should be in the A gap, and 0 should be in the other A gap.
Yes, and this is what happens when you vacate your gap. Look how big. Look how
Yes.
big that hole is.
Oh yeah. Now he gone. So that's a mental error, right? I mean, those kind of mistakes you really can't make at this level. I know he's a hell of a player, right? But that, I mean, right now, I would categorize it as a coach. I would be saying that's a lack of trust in your guys because now he actually jumps essentially into the backside B gap
Mm-hmm.
from the front side A gap to the backside B gap. If we're going to be very technical, because he's on the other side of the guard now, who's kind of cutting him. That
Yeah,
that
he ends up he essentially blocks himself.
yeah, that can't happen. We can't allow that. So when we're talking about what does the defense have to work on and this kind of stuff, these are the things that they're going to have to be trying to fix uh, in the offseason. All right. I know you got another play.
Yep. Last one. This was one that I was kind of like happy for a second. I was like, "Oh, look at that! We got some pretty good DB play." It was still a good play at the end. I don't want to take that away from him. But then when they showed the replay, I was like, "Oh, so he did just kind of get like toasted inside though." So we're actually gonna get just like this seam route by the tight end, and he's actually gonna stem Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. outside, and there's no safety help since there's no
Zero.
since there's
Cover
no
zero.
help in the middle of the field. Um, this can't happen.
Which we did predict a lot of this, by the way, if you watch the film, that we were saying you were going to get a lot of cover zero down in the red zone by Womack. And it did show up. And so you cannot be outside where he is. He's a full man outside, and he is not even
Yeah,
turned.
yeah, well, yeah. He's a full man outside. He's not turned. He doesn't get his hands on him. If this ball is thrown on time, this is the easiest pitch and catch touchdown that you can throw right in the middle of the field. Just you don't even have to throw it at the receiver. You just need to throw it like somewhere in the end zone.
It's somewhere over there,
Because
away from him.
there's so much grass out here.
Well, you say a lot of grass, but there really wasn't a lot of grass on our field. Did you see that damn thing? That thing is horrible, man. I don't know. John O gave me the scoop on what was happening. I'm hearing we're getting new grass, new sod put in, and it should look a whole lot better. But man, it wasn't in good shape to be on the ESPN game.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if this ball is on time and or in the middle of the field like it's supposed to be, this is a touchdown and not an interception. It is a great recovery, all that kind of stuff. But
good hands, good hands.
Good hands. But let me tell you, when I don't know, Arch Manning or what's the kid's name? Quinn Ewers is out there throwing that ball. That's a touchdown every time.